Hi guys, Gemma here from Fundamental Sports and Fitness, and going live earlier a little bit sooner today than expected, more because of the nice weather and I want to get out in the garden and do some of the bits with the boys and things like that. But yeah, still to plan of the what obstacles can you expect to see on an obstacle course race? Now, from a client perspective, I know when I've been speaking to so my clients and guys, that they can sometimes feel, I don't want to say intimidated by what you might expect to see on a race, but that can be one of the factors that sometimes puts people off sort of making that transition from a trail race or a road race into obstacle course racing. They know that it's lots of fun, they've heard people talking about them, but it can sometimes be the obstacles that put people off. So yeah, that's what we're going to go over a little bit today. I'm taking away some of that fear factor so you know what you might encounter on a race. And yeah, if you've got any questions, then fire them at me as we go through it all. So any obstacle course race, you will have the big chunk of it is all running. So we've spoke previously in the lives about them being different lengths, anything from sort of 5k all the way up to half marathon and marathon distances. We've even got some ultra racers out there now. So running is going to be a key factor in it, and as I've always said, it's the obstacles that I enjoy, which is what makes the obstacle race fun. It then means I can get through the running because I know every 100 or so metres there's going to be something to crawl through, climb over, hang off, lift, and that splits the race up quite nicely from my point of view with it all. It also means that you have to train quite differently than you would do for a normal running event. You'll probably have a lot more strength training involved within there as well. So yeah, at the moment, we've got all the races postponed for the summer, but this is the good chance to now train and practice for the different obstacles that you might encounter. And as we say, the more you train for it and the more that you know what might come up on a race, the more prepared you can be throughout it all. So any race, there are a huge variety of obstacles that you might come across. If we're looking at the UK scene at the moment, everything is still more traditional. So there's lots of mud, carries, cargo nets, A-frames, things like that. And I'll go into a little bit more about what all of those are. Whereas if you shift to looking at Europe and at the world stage, you'll tend to find things are very technical. So much more technical rigs, so that's like monkey bars, rings hanging on and off them, and looking at transitions and things like that. Hi Cheryl, thanks for joining us. Cheryl is one of our obstacle course racers, and I'm sure she's got some favourite obstacles that she likes doing out on the courses. But you'll see within the UK at the moment, things are progressing quite nicely, and everybody is being challenged within each race, and you've got different companies trying to outdo each other and trying to have bigger and better obstacles that are out on a course. So yeah, whether or not what you're running for, depending on the different waves that you might enter, whether or not it's a competitive one and you're out there to compete and try and get podium place, or if it's out for recreation and just to have fun and join in. There's all different sort of wave times that you might want to start in, so that might be less intimidating than any others to go and do. So we're going to focus more on the recreational side of things, and those people that might be wanting to start racing but could be put off a little bit by what obstacles you might find out on a course. So from that bit of it being recreational, you've really got to think about that it's there for being fun. So you might be running with a group of friends. You've got your friends there to help you out over any of the obstacles, which is brilliant. And from that point of view, you don't have to do every single obstacle that you come across. So it might be that you look at one and you just think, Cheryl was height, not her thing at all. She'll do everything she can to get over them. But if she sees some that are too high, she'll avoid them. So yeah, you can do that. That is absolutely fine to miss out obstacles. You might have a bit of a forfeit. I know Spartan, they're very keen on burpees, so if you think you might be missing some obstacles or skipping some out on a race, get practicing your burpees, because you will probably need to do those at some point. But there are alternatives, press-ups, squats, other things that you might come across. So that's one of the big bits I always think about, is if you are worried about something, okay, or you're scared, don't worry about it. There is the opportunity to miss the obstacle out. Have your friends help you, do the forfeit option that might be there. But the races are there to be fun. Okay, and there are always marshals on the obstacles as well to help and support you, and the marshals are the guys that make the races. They are there to be really friendly, encouraging, and as we know, races can't happen if marshals aren't there to help and support us and keep us safe during it. So yeah, obstacles that you'll find on a course, I've kind of split them into a few different categories, and we'll kind of go through each one. If you've got any questions, just shout out as we go through it all, and if you think I've missed any out, comment as well, so we can kind of put those in there, so we can make the nice list really big and extensive. But I've tried to kind of go as all round as possible with it. So your likelihood is you'll always have a carry in there, so focusing on the strength based element. Now this could be farmers walks, holding sort of like the jerry cans. Spartan have a bucket. Always try and hug it, 2 hands, makes it a little bit easier. Might get a dead arm if it's on your shoulders. Use the grip at the bottom of the bucket. Atlas stones, again, carrying backwards and forwards. The oddest size weights and shapes that you might come across, anything that's nice and strength based in there, you will have a carry of some sort, power bag, rec bag, around your shoulders, to make sort of a 100-200 metre stretch of a course really awkward. Okay, there'll be a climbing element in there, so that might be a single rope that you've got to climb up. All technique based when it comes to ropes, and there are a few different techniques out there that you can use, S hooks, J hooks, but again we can go over those, and we do a lot of bits of those within the sessions. Climbing cargo nets, so they might be on A-frames or just straight up, and you've got to climb up and down one of the cargo nets. So again, nice and simple, usually quite fun to appear when those come on a race. A balancing element to a course, so this could be a balance beam. Think your normal gymnastic style, nice and thin, steadily walk your way across. Some might be slightly sloped, so you might have an incline at the start, nice flat bit, and then a decline, or different frames, so zigzags, various shapes and sizes that you might have as you're walking across for your balance, which is why I always try and incorporate a balance element into the sessions that we do. Hanging would be the next bit. Now, this is the bit that can put some people off, because they think, oh, I can't do monkey bars, I can't do rings. A lot of it is get some good grip strength in there, practice your pull-ups, they're always going to help. And there are lots and lots of different techniques. The hanging side and the rigs are probably the hardest side that you can do, but once you've mastered them, I'm going to say they're probably the coolest that you can look at as well. So when it comes to hanging, as we've just kind of commented, you've got rigs in there, so they might be really low obstacles that you've got to traverse across. They could be really high ones that you can work across. You'll see monkey bars in there. There's one called the Stairway to Heaven, again like an A-frame, and you've got to use your hands and climb up a ladder and then go down a ladder. One came out last year, it was the Gibbons. Appeared quite a lot on the world stages. I know they're coming into the UK quite a lot, and again a nice challenge to swing across as you're going through, taking the bar with you. Very, very challenging, but again a lot of it is practice and technique with all of those things. Fun ones, which you'll always find on a race, are the crawls. So they could be bear crawls, cargo nets. Cheryl just commented, short girl problems. Yes, they definitely are for when it comes to any hanging or rig type of things. You wish they had a step or some ladders to get onto them each time. I know I quite like them when they've got a step. Suddenly reaching becomes so much easier. But yeah, that's another thing to get into with race directors, of whether or not they have the obstacles for short people, or we go for the nice average person. Or I know some of the guys have commented it's hard doing a low rig when they're 6'5" and their feet are dangling and they could walk along it instead. So yeah, Cheryl, that makes it an interesting point there. So yeah, going back to our crawls. They're the times that your hands, forearms, knees will get nice and cut, and that's when some bruises will appear. Really think about staying as low as possible. So when we're saying do your mountain climbers, keep your bum low, these are one of the reasons. So you'll have your cargo nets. Ladies, if you've got long hair, I know when I've, in the past, a nice French plait, keep your ponytail bobble nice and low. It will stop your hair getting caught in the cargo nets. Very big issue. Barbed wire crawls, that again is why you want to keep your bum and your hips low when you're crawling through anything. Spartan last year were horrible in the Midlands. They had their barbed wire crawl going up a hill. I've never had my arms and legs burning so much trying to stay low and go up a hill and under, make sure I wasn't caught on barbed wire. Other crawls you could get, mud and trenches, they're always great fun. You will get absolutely caked in mud, and that is the whole point sometimes of an obstacle course race, get as muddy as possible. But again, that's why you want to stay nice and low whenever you're doing anything. What else could we see? Walls. So these could be inverted walls, and that could be one that is going forwards. Okay, so you've got to run up it at an incline. It could be that some of the walls you've actually got to get up from this side and then slide down. Okay, so again, a few different techniques for how you could do both of those style. And then the other side of your normal straight walls, okay, but various different heights. You could have some nice, I want to say, easy 3-foot ones that are a bit of a hurdle to get across. Your 6 foot, 7 foot walls, getting again the right technique, either running up or a bit of a leg swing and hook over. I quite like the leg swing, hook over with your arm, hook over and use your ankle, and then slide yourself over the top. You could have some of the 12-foot walls. Now, with those ones, if you're with a friend, those make those really easy. Okay, you can effectively walk up each other as you do those ones. Again, I know, Cheryl, I've done some of the nice tall ones with you, and well, I don't want to say kicked you in the face, but there's been a few images that might have come out that my foot looks very close to your nose as we've done some of those ones. But yeah, use your teammates and your friends when you're doing some of the really high walls. As I've said, marshals will be there to help you out as well amongst those ones. What else have we got? Lifts. So again, looking back at that strength-based side of things. So Spartan, you have the Hercules hoist. So the big weight at the bottom, try and pulling it up. Wrecks your hands, okay. You'll find sort of your grip will have gone a little bit by those, depending on where they've put it on the race as well. It hurts a lot. Again, very much technique based from that squat down and pulling. You can use the frame as well to try and get a bit of a grip on it. So that's one element of a lift. You've got the tyre flips. Okay, so again, you're having to lift the bottom of a tyre and turn it over. So there could be another element that you could see in there. I'd said about the Atlas stones being in as a carry option, and you're carrying it across. You might also find that you've got to lift it onto something as well, so that could be another element of a lift. And other bits that you could see, anything that's pushing or pulling, so sledges, stones, breeze blocks, anything that's heavy, you could either be having to pull it a distance or push it a distance. Okay, so more, say, strength-based within those side of things. So as you can see so far, there's a real mix of obstacles that you can come across. We then have some of the extra fun ones like the slides. Now, Reaper was an awesome event. They had a huge slide, went down, mamma mia, into the biggest, I'd say, mud pit. What mud they used in there, I have no idea, because it dyes clothes, it dyes hair, you come out looking like an Oompa Loompa, okay? But it was brilliant, okay? So you'll have those slides. You'll have slides with kickers on the end, so they flick you up into the air and drop you back down. And slides going into water, the National Water Sports Centre, some brilliant ones, usually sliding down into the white water course and taking a little bit of a ride down there, some brilliant ones. And then you'd have your water element to a course, so that might be a swim, a wade. Usually water comes after a really muddy section, so use the opportunity to clean yourself down in that water. Make sure your hands are mud free, everything like that, that then can take you off into the next set of obstacles that you'll be coming across. So those of you that have raced, what are your favourite obstacles? Which ones do you enjoy doing the most? For me, I quite like the rings and the monkey bars, things like that. You get them that are nice and challenging, and you always feel, or certainly for me, I always feel amazing once I've done them. But it's quite a satisfying one to do. Plus, the pictures that you get at the end are always really cool. Any obstacle tips that you guys have got that you could share with other people as well, so put those in the comments box. And then over the next few weeks I've slowly been putting together a training guide for obstacle course racing. So all my tips, training methods, everything that I do with my clients, my racers, I'm putting together all as one big document and guide that you'll be able to get. It's got loads of videos, loads of pictures in it, so that you'll be able to use to help your training. So again, keep an eye out for that. And if there's anything that you want to see appear in it, or that you want to know how to do, again, put it in the comments box, and I'll make sure that that is included within it, because they say it's all based and focused around what you want with your training. So it'd be lovely to hear what you guys want and put in there. But yeah, great speaking to you all today. I'll say share and follow the Facebook page. Let anybody else know about the obstacle course racing. And this is a great video to see and watch if you are unsure or worried about what obstacles might appear in an obstacle course race. See you all next week, guys. Bye.